This morning's tea is going to incorporate Jalgulan, which is the herb of immortality. This one is peppermint. Yesterday I think I used field mint or something. Moringa blossoms, butterfly plant, and jackfruit tree or leaf. Now with the jackfruit leaf, you always want to break it up and bruise it. And I was told by the lady who told me you could use these in teas, that you always want to pick it in the morning from the eastern side of the plant, and if you're going to do an afternoon tea, from the western side of the plant. I don't know why, I just follow instructions sometimes. Anyway, I know a lot of people don't believe that. If you know me, you know I don't practice that. But anyway, we'll let our tea steep there. See, it's all in the press and going at it. We'll let it steep for a few minutes and we're going to talk. Or actually, while we're going to talk, we'll go ahead and plant the seeds I'm going to plant today. With the whole thing of the coronavirus going on and the world talking about food shortages and things, I've ramped up planting, and I'm planting a little more frequently, and a little bit more just because I may need to share it with some people, and that's okay, I will. But today I'm going to plant the black Mexican sweet corn. This is a variety I've grown before, and it loves the hot summer sun. This might be a little early to plant it, seeing how it's in the 60s this morning and only going to be in the 70s today. But I thought, as hot as it's been, it's probably going to be okay. It'll be okay either way, because it grew okay in the early spring when I grew it before, but it just flourished much better in the summertime, and I can always get more seed and plant more later. The corn is a tall plant, so it shades. And what I like to do is, after I plant the corn, I go underneath it, and once it's up a little bit, about knee-high, then I can plant things like carrots and beets and things that don't do so well in the hot summer sun, because the summer sun never gets to it, because I plant my corn kind of dense. I go against traditional methods that way. Another thing that likes growing underneath corn for some reason, and I don't know why the correlation, is the Seminole pumpkin. That just went crazy afterward, and that's a Florida native, so it should be used to. Girl, I don't know if you can see that, but on the other side of the pot, the chicken just jumped up. But she may be wanting some corn. But I like planting things underneath that, because first of all, you get a double dip on the land. They also get along with each other pretty well too. The carrots keep invasive weeds from growing. The corn shades the carrots. They don't fight for nutrition out of the soil. So it works. It works very well. With everything that's going on, we need something that works well together. And that's a good lesson that we can have in life, is to have things that work well together. I wish our politicians worked better together, but they don't seem to want to these days, but it's all right. They'll get through it. They'll get replaced. Anyway, I have these little, this little rock wool, it's called, rock wool blocks, and I always plant corn in those, because you can plant the corn in that, and while you've got something else in the ground that you're planting this in, and when it's ready to harvest and strip off from land, you can go right into the corn, expediting and rotating the dirt. As long as you continue to put compost in and do things like that, you can intensely farm like that, but if you don't, you'll deplete the land. I do add a lot of compost. Right now I'm gathering up a lot of my neighbors' leaves and putting them in my compost pile. The wind's not helping me out there a little bit, but it's good. This morning I was meditating, and I was told not to worry, that everything's going to be okay for me, but that, there's a lot of stress in the world today, and there is. I get it. I mean, even if you're perfectly okay, you'd be crazy not to be feeling stress right now. It's just that kind of a time. The tea's done. At least it's been steeping long enough. It's not very dark this morning, but nothing I put in there would cause it to have a dark color. Let's see how it tastes. Wow. The jackfruit gives a bitterness to it, but then the mint gives a sweetness to it. So it's a kind of a sweet, bitter taste, kind of like a salty caramel is. It's as delicious as salty caramel. It really is. Which sounds weird, but it's quite good. But back to the spiritual lesson of the day. When I was meditating this morning, I clearly got that I was going to be okay. And for the most part, most of my circle of friends, family, whatever, is going to be okay as well. But getting through it is going to be very stressful, whether you're homeschooling your kids or working from home or putting up with your spouse working from home, or dealing with the grocery store craziness. I'm dealing with that in my own way, planting corn. It's going to be a crazy time. It is a crazy time, and it's going to get more crazy before it levels out. But it will level out, and we're all going to get through this, and we're all going to be okay in the long run. We just have to get through it, and the only way we can get through it is by leaning on one another, loving one another, caring for one another, and again, reaching out to one another. It's very important to reach out to people that you haven't talked to in a while, because if you haven't talked to them in a while, it could be a lot of people that haven't talked to them in a while. And if no one's talked to them in a while, they might be pretty lonely. And even if they have moved on to other social circles or whatever, it's good to hear from old friends, old acquaintances, cousins that you haven't talked to in a long time. It's good to reach out to them, because you never know information you're going to find out. In the last few days, I have found that I had a friend that died from coronavirus. Found out I had another friend who passed away of natural causes. Someone that I hadn't talked to in years, but yet we were very close at one time. I also found out that a couple is getting a divorce. Another couple's getting married. I'm finding all about people planting gardens. I think that's really hot. They're, planting gardens all around the world right now. A friend of mine that lives in South Africa is just harvesting some lettuce that he had planted. A friend of mine that lives in Australia, I talked with him through Messenger on Facebook, and he's having a bumper harvest of okra this year. And he was like, okay, I know you're from the South and Southern America, and this is a Southern American thing. What do I do with this? He says, I tried baking it and it just didn't work. I started laughing. I've never heard of baked okra before. I know fry it, boil it, cook it in stews, cook it in gumbo. there's a lot of things you can do with it. I've never heard of baking okra, but he tried baking it. He said it didn't turn out too good. Well, I told him how to bread it and fry it, do it like a real man. And he said he would get some bacon today to make sure he fried it in bacon grease, because I told him that's what I always fried mine in. I don't know. It's a little intense for some people. But, you know, we're finding out that things are happening all around the world. This is not just something that's happening to us here in Florida. It's not just something happening here in Orlando, but it's happening globally. And reach out to people. They need it. Even the chickens need it, I guess. They were reaching out to me this morning, and when they saw that I wasn't going to take care of them or give them whatever they wanted, they just went on. That's how chickens are. But things are going to get worse before they get better. But they will get better. And just keep reminding yourself that they will get better. Things are going to be better. They've not hit bottom yet. I think that's the part that our leaders don't want to tell us, is that we've not hit bottom yet. And it's not going to snap back as quickly as everyone hopes. It will snap back. We will be prosperous again. We will have good things going for us again. If you have your job and you have your income, still intact, be thankful. Be thankful and help those who haven't, or who doesn't have, or whose income has been impacted. If you have your health, isolate. Keep your masks on when you can't isolate, and your gloves, and keep social distancing. This is for real. This isn't a hoax. Even if some pharmaceutical company makes a fortune off of being the first one with a vaccine, it's not a design for the big pharma to take our money. This is a very real disease. It's killing real people. It killed my friend. And when I was asked if I could do a graveside service, I was thinking how difficult that's going to be, to do a graveside service and not be able to shake the hands or hug the deceased family because we have to keep distance. How difficult that's going to be. But this is the normal we're living with right now. It's not, well, I guess it is the new normal, but there's going to be another new normal that looks completely different from any normal that we've ever had that's still coming. And it's going to be okay. You're going to be okay. Just keep remembering, you're going to be okay. And since I've babbled on for 17 minutes this morning, I'm just going to leave that with Tea with Lee.